Hello, Wonderhussy here, out in the beautiful middle of nowhere, about to go to a hot spring I've never been to. Okay, if you've been watching my channel for a while, well, you know I've been to over 100 hot springs, and I thought I'd been to all the low-hanging fruit. I thought I'd plucked all the low-hanging fruit, and that all that was left were the ones that you have to backpack 30 miles to or drive up some sketchy road. Well, no. There's a hot spring right here, just off a paved road, that inexplicably I've never bothered to visit before. And since I'm just sort of tooling around the middle of nowhere today, with a little bit of extra free time on my hands, I thought today might be the day to finally go take a dip in this hot spring. Look at it, it looks nice. Now I will say that it's a hot day. It's in the 90s. So going into hot water, it's probably not the best idea, but I don't know, sometimes when you go in these hot springs on a hot day, when you get out, you feel cooled off and refreshed. Now, another thing about this particular hot spring, well, you can see that it's amply posted with signs warning you about Naegleria fowleri. That's how you pronounce that, Naegleria fowleri. It's an amoeba common to thermal pools, but it's not only in thermal pools, it's in any standing water over a certain temperature, and that temperature is only like, I want to say like in the 60s or 70s. It's not that hot. Anyway, it's an amoeba that can enter only through, they don't mention all these details, it can only enter through your olfactory nerves in your nose, and it can cause a rare infection causing death. And that's no exaggeration. If you get this thing, you're pretty much toast. Unless you catch it like right away. I think there is some kind of intervention, but it's hard to catch right away. I think it's a type of meningitis that this amoeba eats your brain. It sounds terrible. I don't want to get it. That's why I never put my nose under any hot spring water or any warm standing water at all. And that's good practice because, believe it or not, people have even died of this thing swimming in Lake Havasu. The whole Lake Havasu is warm enough to support this thing. So it's not just hot springs, but they have no fewer than 1, 2, 3, 4 signs warning you about it here. And I think that might be because somebody did die from that thing they caught it in this hot spring. A year, 2, 3 years ago, fairly recently, somebody got that amoeba in their nose in this hot spring. So I guess that's why the fine folks from Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, which is interesting because we are nowhere near the city of Los Angeles. We're on the other side of the mountains out here in the desert. But I guess the LADWP still has its grubby fingers in this pie from way back 100 years ago when they first hooked their tentacles into Owens Lake and sucked it dry to pipe all the water to the fine city of Los Angeles. And believe it or not, I actually have no beef with LA. I really like LA. But the fact of the matter is, they did suck all the water out of this valley. And apparently they're still running some kind of show here. And they care enough to put up these signs warning you about this brain-eating amoeba. But it's interesting, there aren't any signs warning you about what I think is really kind of grody about this particular hot spring. And I really shouldn't say grody because this looks like a very nice hot spring. Look how clean, clear, nice sandy bottom. I'm about to get in. I'll let you know if it's grody or not. But what makes it seem kind of grody is the fact that, well, you can see the hot water is coming out of that culvert there. And that culvert is coming downhill from that cluster of trees up there, where there just so happens to be a hot spring resort. That's right, one of those places you gotta pay to soak in the hot springs, and it looks really nice. I've looked it up online. It's got a beautiful swimming pool, and I'll probably end up going there one of these days to check it out. But you know me, I like to soak au naturel, yes, without a swimsuit. And over there you probably have to wear a swimsuit. Out here, I'm guessing I can just go naked and I don't have to pay. And well, there's nobody here, so why wouldn't I? You know, there's probably like 150 people at that resort right now. I could have this pool all to myself. Oh, look, on the other side of the road, there's another pool. Oh my goodness, there's like several soaking pools here. One on this side of the little rock dam and one on that side. I have my thermometer with me, so I'll check the temperature on all of them and I'll get in the one that seems just right. Oh gosh, can you hear that sound? Well, you might not be able to hear it over the sound of the rushing water, but it's these power lines. They're like crackling. It's kind of freaky. Well, I guess we are at a site somehow administered by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. So it stands to reason there'd be some kind of power hazard here too. Anyway, I wonder if they have these signs at the hot spring resort, because that's the same hot water. You could get that Naegleria fowleri just as easily from a paid hot spring. I'm pretty sure, because they don't treat at these hot spring resorts, or at least where I come from, they don't treat the hot spring water with chlorine or anything. And I don't even know if chlorine, well, I guess chlorine would kill an amoeba. I'm not sure how that works. But most hot springs that I've been to, if anything, they use bromine. So I'll bet you anything you could get Naegleria fowleri even if you paid good money to go soak in that purdy pool up there. So either way, just keep your head out of the water. It's no big deal. Okay, let's check the temperature of these pools. Okay, I'm gonna start out. This is the farthest, or the closest to the resort. The resort is right up there. So the hot water that's draining out from all those other pools up yonder. And that's why I say there should be a warning sign about this. This is basically ass water. It's water that people have already soaked in. So basically we're going to be soaking in the runoff from the pools up there. Ass water. And that's okay. I don't mind soaking in a little good old-fashioned ass water if I have to. What's wrong with a little good old-fashioned ass water on a beautiful summer's day? Hey, as long as you don't put your nose under the water. I mean, not only will you not get Naegleria fowleri, you won't smell other people's asses. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's on Celsius. God, communist. All right, what? 99. Assuming this thing is accurate, it says it's only like 99 degrees. Okay, well, that's still pretty hot for a hot day. Let's see what it is over here. Pool number 2. Survey says 102. How is it hotter farther downstream? Oh dear. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if you ask me, it would be hotter up there by the source, and then the farther down the meadow it goes, it would get cooler. Let's see what it is over here. Back underneath these crackling power lines. Okay, well, where it first comes out here, it says 100. Ugh. Go try this main big pool. Let's see. 98. Okay, that's the best we've seen so far. And then when it goes over this rock dam, there's a real pretty little waterfall. Let's see what it says over here. 101. I don't get how these things yo-yo up and down. Oh, look. This creek continues all the way down to those soaking pools all the way down. Wow, I can't believe I've never been to this hot spring. For some reason, I don't know, thought it wouldn't be that exciting, or I'm not sure. It's beautiful. There were signs posted no overnight camping, so you couldn't camp here, but it's definitely worth a quick stop. You know, it's right off the side of the highway. It's just a quick couple 2-mile detour. I would definitely stop here again, presuming we can find a nice comfortable temperature pool. I'm gonna go all the way down to the end, see if it gets any cooler down here. Gosh, this looks real snaky. There's probably like 1,000 rattlesnakes hanging out at this hot spring. Whew. And I'm wearing my flip-flops as usual. Gotta be careful and make sure I look where I'm stepping. Wow, there's just pool after pool after pool. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's see this. 100. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's getting any cooler. I'll check one more. There's a real nice, clear-looking little pool down here. Look at that. That's deep and clear. So let's check this temperature. 98. Okay, maybe I'll try this one. I mean, that's as cool as we're gonna get, it looks like. Oh, unfortunately, there is a little bit of litter that's collected in here. I'll pick up what I can and take it with me. It's the least I can do as a steward, or I should say stewardess, of the environment. I can't really call myself an environmentalist because I drive a gas-guzzling SUV, but I can pick up other people's trash, including other people's trash from over 50 years ago. Look at that. It's a pull tab. Ooh, good thing I'm picking this up. Wouldn't want to step on that. Then I might cut my heel and have to cruise on back home. And I do not want to go back to Death Valley in July. It's hot enough here. In Death Valley, it's like 20 degrees hotter. No, sir. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my car. Why? Why am I going to go back? Well, I'll go get my kombucha. And maybe I'll get... Do I need a floaty? Screw the kombucha. I'll have a ranch water. I deserve this after picking up all that garbage. Okay, let's go get in the water. Oh, dang it. Another car just rolled up. Well, I'm still gonna soak without my bikini. I'm just gonna go way down here to the very last pool, that one that we found that was kind of deep and only 98 degrees, which is still hot enough for that Naegleria fowleri. Okay, where was it? Oh, down here. Yeah, this looks really nice. Look at this little pool. Whew, whew. This rock is hot. Let's see how the water is. Ooh, oh gosh, yeah, this water is hot. Oh my goodness. Ooh, ah, wow, this is actually pretty hot. Which, yeah, sucks on a hot day like today, but it's impressive when you think about how long this creek is, that it's this hot, this far down. The water up at that resort must be amazing. All them fancy folks yucking it up at the resort, and I'm just down here wallowing in their ass water. Not bad for ass water. And it's true, after soaking in here, every time I stand up, which I would stand up and show you what I mean, but I can't because, you know, YouTube. Anyway, standing up out of this hot water, you immediately feel much cooler. So as long as I'm careful and don't stay in here too long, I think it ought to be just what the doctor ordered. Cheers. Wow, that hot waterfall would be so amazing on a cooler day. I can only imagine how awesome this place would be in wintertime, when all these mountains would be totally covered in snow, and this meadow in front of us would probably be dusted in snow, and there'd be steam coming off of these pools. I mean, yeah, it's only 98 degrees in this pool, which on a winter's day might not be warm enough. But I'll bet you anything it would be okay. You know, this hot spring reminds me of Sespie Creek. Only Sespie, you have to backpack 18 miles to get to. This one, you can drive right up to it. But the downside to it being so easily accessible is there is kind of a lot of trash here, and I've been picking up more. The more I see, cigarette wrapper, cigarette butt, a bar of soap, which means somebody was taking a bath in here. As if it being ass water wasn't already gross enough. Now there's people washing their dingleberries off in it too. Oh well, at least it's got a nice swift flow. I mean, this thing is flowing on down. I think it just sort of dissipates into the meadow down there. So those dingleberries are probably just helping fertilize the flowers. I mean, it is natural. I know it sounds gross, but think about it. Before the invention of modern indoor plumbing, people used to poop outdoors all the time. And I think I read somewhere, my sister was telling me, that there's actually a lack of nitrates in the soil now because we don't poop and pee outdoors anymore. Now that's not to say that all 7 billion people in the world need to be pooping and peeing outdoors, because it would go to, well, it would go to real fast. I'm just saying a few dingleberries aren't going to kill anyone. Wow, look, you can even see the highway in the distance right there. All them trucks going up and down, bringing all them goods from nowhere to nowhere. This is a pretty desolate part of the country. Actually, this highway goes all the way from Reno to Los Angeles. So I'll bet you anything that all them trucks are bringing snowboards from Reno down to LA and sunglasses from LA up to Reno. Or something like that. What do I know? All I know is my ranch water's almost gone. And it really is too hot to be sitting in this hot spring. And besides, I'm headed up north, higher in elevation, to another hot spring that'll probably be a lot more comfortable to soak in than this. So I should probably just finish my drink and head on down the road. You know, 2 other cars rolled up while I was sitting here, and I still haven't seen anybody. That's the neat thing about this hot spring. It's so long, and there's so many different pools. Everyone can have a private soak. You don't need to see anyone unless you want to. And I gotta be careful, because I'm only on day 3 of this trip, and I already feel myself becoming Sasquatchy. You know what I mean? When you're traveling by yourself. And I've been alone for the last month in Death Valley. Everybody left. Well, I don't know if this happens to you, but for me, if I'm alone too long, I start getting withdrawn and weird. I start getting afraid of other people and like socially awkward. And I don't want that to happen. But I also really don't want to get yelled at for not wearing a swimsuit. So I'm just gonna stay right down here. There's a little seat here at the bottom of this rock. That's where I've been sitting. It's a natural seat with a natural backrest, and you can put your feet in the water, and it feels so nice and relaxing, looking at that beautiful clear water. And then when you look up, it's a million, billion, trillion dollar view of the highway. Just kidding, there's actually some really notable mountains behind that highway. Those are the White Mountains where the ancient bristlecone pine forest is. The bristlecones are just, gosh, right up there somewhere. I mean, White Mountain Peak would be probably the one that still has snow on it there. And so the bristlecone forest is somewhere right up there. And then Boundary Peak, just down a little bit farther, that's the highest point in Nevada. How about that? The highest point in Nevada. A lot of people think it's Wheeler Peak over in Great Basin National Park. Well, that's the highest mountain, but the highest point, somehow there's a distinction, is Boundary Peak, right across the state line there in Nevada. Now, I'm in California right now, but I could be in Nevada in 30 minutes if I wanted to. Okay, it was finally time to get out of that cute little hot spring and put on my dang clothes. I gotta head on down the road and find a place to camp tonight. But before I leave, I want to walk down the trail because I'm curious to see where this hot creek ends. I mean, I was speculating that it just sort of peters out in the desert, and that's where the dingleberries feed all the plants. But I don't know, I kind of want to see for myself. Well, look, creek just keeps on going. Beautiful, crystal clear. Well, I was going to say Sierra snowmelt, but crystal clear Sierra ass water. Oh goodness, there's even more pools all the way down here. Look at this. This is like a little Garden of Eden. Oh, and it looks like there's a final pool all the way at the end. I don't know though. This hot spring is like the hot spring that keeps on giving. Every time I think I find the final pool, there's one more pool. Could this actually be the final pool? Wow, look, it's another here. Golly! I mean, there must be 20 different pools you can soak in this runoff ditch. This hot spring way exceeded my expectations. Way. I told you I'd known about this place for years, and I don't know, I never came down here because I guess I thought it wasn't going to be that good. Boy, was I wrong. This is like one of my all-time favorite places now. Okay, I see. So the creek finally does go under the road there. Well, let's go look on the other side of the road. I wouldn't be surprised if like the best pool of all is on the other side of the road. Speaking of road, it was pretty gnarly getting down here. You can see it got washed out pretty hardcore, and well, probably when all the snow up on top of the mountains has just started melting and it's running down off of the hills, and it's wreaking all kinds of havoc. They call it the big melt around these parts because they got an exceptional amount of snow up there this past January, February, March, even April, I think. And now that it's, you know, almost 100 degrees down here, it's all starting to melt and run down and destroy all kinds of stuff. Oh, well, golly. Looks like I was right. Okay, so here's the road. Here's the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power signs marking this, where the road sort of caved in here. That's where the hot creek flows down into this culvert, and then look, it looks like there is another soaking pool over here because there's another one of them Naegleria fowleri signs. Boy, it just takes one person dying and they creak open their wallets. All them signs aren't cheap. Wow, so yeah, the creek just continues on, all the way until there's a barbed wire fence here, so I guess that marks the official end of what I'm going to call Asswater Hot Spring, in the grand tradition of not naming places. And I know people get so mad at me just because I make these videos about hot springs. Well, I'm pretty good about not saying where I am and not giving real names. So in that tradition, I dub thee Asswater Springs. 'Tis a fine spring, 'tis a fine ass water. Might as well pick up one more piece of trash. And now that I've been to the bitter end, I feel like I can go. But I'm definitely coming back to this hot spring, 100%. I like this a lot. It's beautiful. There's plenty of room. It's so spread out. Look how far away my car is. I mean, there could be, well, I was going to say there could be 100 people here, and there probably could be 100 people here, and it wouldn't feel too crowded. Although, talk about ass water.